Okay. My name is Sara Smith. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm a professor of history at American River College, and today's date is June 22nd, 2023. So let's start off by establishing the basics. What's your full name? What are your pronouns? And what's your date of birth?
Ronnie Anthony Miranda, I guess him and his for the pronouns, and he said, well,
Your date of birth.
February 24, 1976.
So that makes you 47.
Yes.
So tell me a little about yourself. What are your interests and hobbies? What do you like to do?
I like to, well, there's a lot of things I like to do. I like to work out, of course, at Planet Fitness. And I also volunteer for the LGBT community called the Imperial Court System, which I've been volunteering for the past 30 years.
Anything else you'd like to say about your interests and hobbies and what you like to do in your spare time?
One of my hobbies I do is I perform in drag. So I perform at a lot of coronation balls and some of the shows here in Sacramento.
So anything more you want to say about that? What are your drag performances like?
Pretty much I'm a ballad person, female impersonator ballad. So I like a lot of the music I perform, or, big music artists like Patti LaBelle, Erykah Badu, Mary J. Blige, Stephanie Mills, just to name a few.
And what is the Imperial Court System?
The Imperial Court System is basically it's a nonprofit organization. We do a lot of social events, and we raise money for the community, and it's international court system actually. So there's like 65 chapters, Canada, Mexico. There's a lot of courts that basically do a lot of charitable work. We help homeless people. We help people who are HIV positive. We help people get medications, and we do help a lot of people who are homeless.
And is it an organization that also has drag performances?
Yes, majority of a lot of the the Emperor and Empress are pretty much the ones that are in charge for the whole year, and we do a lot of functions, and we travel a lot to support our home court and other surrounding areas.
And what made you get involved in that 30 years ago?
I'm originally from San Diego, and I really didn't see a lot of Afro-American, title holders be involved. So my original drag mother, her name was Cherie, and I was like 23, and there wasn't really a lot of black representation in this system, so I just decided to join and volunteer.
So you said you were in San Diego at the time. Is that where you grew up? Where did you grow up?
San Diego, California.
And then where do you live now?
I live in Sacramento, California.
Okay. And how long have you been in Sacramento?
9 years.
Did you come from San Diego?
No, I actually came from Fresno, California.
And what made you come to Sacramento?
A new change. A lot of things. I was dealing with a lot of addiction, substance abuse and addiction. So, and plus, they don't really have a lot of social services in Fresno. Like Sacramento has a lot of support system, social services in Sacramento. So that's what I need, because I also have mental health and other health challenges.
Okay, where do you currently attend college and what do you study?
I currently attend Sacramento City College, and I'm pursuing my Associates of Arts in Sociology. So basically I'm just doing my general education classes, and I'm pursuing to graduate and transfer to either Sacramento State University or a private black university.
Do you have any in mind?
I have a few. I have a little few. Howard or Morehouse or Clark Atlanta.
Nice. Are you currently a full-time or a part-time student?
I'm currently a part-time student.
Okay. And why do you choose to go part-time?
Because the reason I'm doing part-time is because I have a little Chihuahua, and so by me coming here full-time, I'm neglecting my dog. And then I also do do recovery meetings.
Do you take classes online or in
Both.
person or both? Okay.
Both.
And so how long have you attended community college in general? I think you go to SCC now, but you went to community colleges before too, right? So how long have you been in the system?
Too long.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been over 10 years. I attended 3 community colleges in San Diego, but back then I was doing a lot of partying.
So if you don't mind, can you tell me about how you identify with regard to your social identities, broadly speaking? So race, ethnicity, sexuality, gender, disability, religion, and so on?
I believe I have a higher power. Basically, I'm mixed with Puerto Rican and Black.
And sexuality, gender, and disability and ability?
Do I have to? I'd rather not comment on that.
Okay. Do you feel comfortable talking about your sexual orientation in this interview?
Yeah, it just depends on what the questions are.
Okay, so would you mind saying what your identity is so I can
Gay.
Gay. Okay, thank you. So can you talk a little bit about your process of coming out as gay?
It's been a long road for that. My family is not. It's something in my family because majority of my family is Catholic, so it's something I never previewed to my family. It's kind of I'd rather that only my mom knows, but that part of my life, I don't. That's something I don't want them to know, or I don't want them. That's yeah.
And that's mainly because they're Catholic?
Yeah, and I don't want to bring. Yeah, it's something that I just don't. I don't feel like they need to know, or I don't think that's something that I just rather just tell my mother and that's it.
And why do you think you would rather them not know?
I keep that part of my life kind of like I separate that, so that I would not even want to mention. I have friends here that I consider family, so they are my family. But as far as my real blood family, no.
Are you concerned that they might react in a
Yeah, my brother has called me the F word a few times.
And how has that made you feel?
I socked him and gave him 2 black eyes.
No. Do you defend yourself?
Oh yeah.
So did you come out as a younger man?
No.
Okay.
No.
How old were you when you realized you were gay, or that you came out as gay anyway? You started telling people, even if it wasn't everybody?
In my maybe 25 and above.
Okay. So do you have community, gay community, queer community?
Yeah. Like I said, I'm part of the LGBT community, a part of the Imperial Court system. I'm from San Diego, so everyone they know who I am.
And how about at SCC?
What?
Have you found community?
Well, one of my friends, I guess she works here. She did an internship here. But to be honest, no. The only I'm part of is Emoja.
Okay. And do you talk about the fact that you're gay in Emoja?
No.
Okay. And why is that?
I just keep it separate, I know a lot of people probably have their views on LGBT, but I just keep it separate.
Do you think you've had traumatic experiences when
I have.
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
And has it make you hesitate to come out sometimes?
Yeah.
Um, so if you feel comfortable, do you have any disabilities?
Yeah, I have a mental health disability, bipolar depression, and I have health challenges, but I'm not comfortable disclosing.
Um, and did you talk about religion? Did you say you're not really religious?
I have a higher power.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in God, but um, yeah, I don't have a specific religion. While I was growing up, grew up in Baptist churches, and then my aunt and my cousins, they're Catholic, but I just believe God. I have a higher power, and that's God.
So no affiliation.
It's not really no. For me, I'm more of I believe in a higher power. It's no specific religion.
At some point, did you make a decision to separate from organized religion?
Yes.
Okay, and why is that?
It comes with a lot of drama and motives.
So how do your disabilities affect you on a daily basis?
Um, I, for one, I have diabetes, so and I have nerve pain a lot. So I have to, I guess, watch what I eat and what I do, and also have to watch what I say.
And why is that?
They'll consider me an angry person, an angry black man, and that can get you into some serious trouble.
So you feel like you sort of, on a daily basis, sort of have to watch what you say.
You got to watch what you say.
How does that impact you as a college student at SCC? Your disabilities and sort of having to watch what you say.
People tend not to want to help, so you got to play the card. You got to be nice.
Do you get any accommodations?
Yes, I have accommodations because I'm with the DSPS program. So I have extra test time on midterms and finals. The only thing that they don't accommodate is the papers for essays and research papers. They don't do that.
Like give you extra time and that sort of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something you have to speak with your professor about.
Do you have you found that you've needed some extra time on papers?
Oh, yeah.
And how have your professors accommodated you or
Yeah,
not?
every professor has accommodated me. I met many professors in their office hours. I go to the writing center. I go to the library. My case manager helps me. I have a lot of people that support me in my college education.
Are there any other accommodations that you wish you had or you think could be provided in a more institutional way?
Like I said, more time on the research papers. The only thing is the papers.
Yeah.
But
Have you had any issues with how you're treated because of your disabilities?
you mean coming here?
Yeah, well, at SCC, if you can think of any, and maybe in general as well.
I'll pass on that.
Okay. So, would you mind talking some about your class status? What's your current class status and how did you?
Right now, I'm not taking any summer classes, but I plan to go in the fall. I have to meet with my DSPS and EOPS counselors, so I have to meet with them to see which classes to take.
In terms of like your finances?
Um, in terms of finances,
Yeah, so like are you low income, middle income?
low income.
Okay. Can you elaborate some on what that means?
I don't work, so basically I'm on SSI and Social Security.
And is it difficult to get by sometimes?
Yeah.
How so?
I've done a lot of things in the past I'm not fond of.
But in terms of finances, like financial?
Running credit cards and doing payday loans,
Okay.
not paying them.
So you have a lot of debt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it hard to pay the bills sometimes?
Yeah, and they send you nasty emails.
Do you ever struggle paying for your courses or for your books?
No, because financial aid or ELPS pretty much take care of that. But I'm in a funny situation with financial aid right now. And I really don't want to talk about that. That would really trigger me.
Okay. Do you ever take advantage of like the resources on campus aside from EOPNS, like food pantry and that sort of thing?
Oh yeah, yeah. They used to do it by the library on every Wednesday. That was Rise.
Has that helped?
Oh yeah, that's another program part of also. Yeah.
So, do financial stressors ever make it difficult for you to concentrate on your coursework?
Yeah,
How so?
the emails. It triggers me a lot. I get scared. They write these, we're gonna take you to jail and all. They're just trying to scare me, that's all. Just to get a response.
Mm-hmm.
And like my case manager said, just ignore it. They're just trying to scare you.
Does that ever make it difficult to be present in the classroom, like mentally?
Kind of.
How about, does it ever make it hard to get your classwork done, your homework done?
No,
Yeah.
I can get my homework done.
Okay. So anything else you want to say about any of that, like the social identities, class status, finances?
Just I'm in a little situation with financial aid, so yeah, so I have to do an appeal, and it's just very stressful. It's very frustrating. I have to keep repeating myself.
So you said you're in Umoja. How are you finding that?
It's very. I like a lot of the people in the program. There's been there people. They're real supportive, and they help you get scholarships to go to. It's called HBUs, historically black universities, colleges and universities. So they help a lot of people get into these colleges. You know, my goal. At one point, I really wanted to go to Morehouse College. It's a private black college for men in Atlanta, Georgia. And that was always my dream ever since I lived in San Diego, or go to Howard University. Those were the two colleges I wanted to go.
And
But
why are you excited about Morehouse and you said Howard?
over Howard, because Howard is in Washington, D.C., and Morehouse is in Atlanta, Georgia. But I think everything's all in the air right now. I have so many options.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And why are you excited potentially to go to an HBCU?
Because I like being around black people.
Mm-hmm.
They can be funny. They're very, I just, I have a lot of respect for Barack Obama. He's one of he is my favorite president. Him and Bill Clinton. I'm not really fond of Biden. I'm not fond of him right now.
Why is that?
For one, it's just a lot of things that's just not adding up right now. A lot of things are not adding up to me. I thought things would change, and I see it's not. Then they having the competitor get to run, and I just have a serious problem.
We're going into an election in which we have the same two candidates as last time. Potentially.
It makes me want not to vote.
When you don't feel like the choices are good.
Especially Trump.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a lot of things. Like the stimulus check, we never got the fourth stimulus check. We petitioned for $2,000 checks every month. There's a lot of homeless people out here. I mean, come on. There was a lot of masquerade shootings, and these policemen are getting away with stuff. It's just a lot. I have a lot of. I just feel that Congress can do better. That's how I feel about it. They can do better.
Yeah, that makes sense. I agree. Have you had any experiences with homelessness?
Yeah.
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 Is that something you feel comfortable talking about?
I've talked about it.
Okay, so what happened that you...
I was doing a lot of drinking, a lot of smoking weed. When I was transitioning from Fresno to Sacramento, it was a move. I should have took it more serious. And I thought this person we were going to be roommates, and he dropped the ball. So I had to look for a room to rent. And so I ended up founding Volunteers of America, and I was in a shelter, and it's a recovery place, and you have to do meetings, and I had a lot of problems with people. People are not following the rules. People are snitching on each other. And they need to like kind of like stay in their own lane, and they were not doing that.
And how long did you experience homelessness for?
It was only about 3 months. Then I met my best friend, which is also part of the Imperial Court. We linked up. I stayed with him for a few months, and then I found my own apartment. Yep.
That's good.
Yeah. But I used to live in South Sacramento back in 2013. Well, let's just say June of 2013 through 2015, and then I moved to Midtown in January of 2015.
And now you have stable housing?
Yeah, and I'm getting in process of moving to Natomas. There's a lot of I'm having issues with neighbors. People don't know how to mind their business.
Anything else you want to say about that? Your experience with homelessness?
No.
Okay. Did it have anything to do with your gayness?
No.
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 Did you have any experiences as a temporarily homeless person with being like?
It was a men's. At that time, it was only for men. It was a men's shelter. But now it's co-ed. But again, I had to do meetings to be in the program. It was a shelter, so we had to do AOD, which means we had to do AOD at the clinic 3 days a week, and then we had to do outside meetings, and every Friday we turned in our paper.
Was that helpful?
I hated it.
Oh, how come?
Because I'm trying to find an apartment or a job, and I couldn't I had to be here. I had chores to do, and some of the roommates were not doing their part.
Yeah, that sounds frustrating.
Yep.
This is a big question, but can you tell me some about your educational journey from high school to the present?
So I'm originally from San Diego, and I attended two high schools. I had to repeat the 12th grade twice. So always defending myself, but I passed a majority of all, well, barely passed the majority of my classes, and I struggled with math, algebra. Um, didn't really care for math, didn't understand it, but it was a requirement to pass in order to graduate. But other than that, majority of the classes I kind of just passed, except for the math part. And then when I moved to Colorado, Mississippi, we had to do a competency test, which is required. So on certain levels, like English and math, I was not meeting that. So I had to retake the test twice. Once I passed it, I was good. But I had to do the 12th grade again because they wanted me to just do corresponding courses to get a GED. And I told my mother, no, I don't want a GED. I want a high school diploma. So I ended up repeating 12th grade, and I graduated June 1st, 1996 from Carmen High School. Then we moved back to San Diego. That's where my college education started, at San Diego City College. Was just doing basically general ed classes. Really didn't pick a major at that point. Was just trying to get the feel of what community college is. And then eventually I decided on a major. Social services, I guess. And so I basically enrolled here at Sacramento City College in 2014. I forgot to drop the class, and so that was on my transcripts, and I didn't even realize that, but also at Southwestern College, I got Pell Grants, and I was doing a lot of drinking, and so I took the check and I withdrew from classes and ended up had to pay the Department of Education all that money back. So I made an agreement and paid the $860 back. But what I didn't realize, that you're only supposed to be in community college for 2 years. So my financial aid is almost up. So now I have to figure things out when I transfer to 4-year college. That can be very stressful. So that's what pretty much I have to deal with that. I have to end up getting a part-time job or apply for scholarships or find a sponsor or have. So that's all. I really don't want to get another student loan.
Why is that?
I don't want to be in debt, and they'll just put me in debt. So right now, where I'm at with that is I'm meeting with my case manager this afternoon, and we're going to talk about that. Figure out some other options. But as far as the federal financial aid, it's gone. And I should have known better. I should have never accepted most of those checks, but I needed it. Books are very expensive. I should have, I didn't realize that you can only have 2 years for community college. I've been here since 2015. It is 2023. Due to COVID, that hinder a lot of our classes. So that's where I'm at with school right now. So.
What did you like about high school, and what did you find difficult?
Being teased a lot.
Why were you teased?
because I wasn't talking to girls. They knew. They all knew. I just didn't want to. I just didn't participate because they knew. They know what was going on. And then I was again I was smoking weed.
Was this in San Diego and you said you were in Mississippi for a while?
Mississippi.
Mississippi.
I did it in San Diego too. Being around the wrong kind of people gets you in a lot of trouble.
Were there any openly gay people in your high school that you remember?
Yeah, there's a few.
Were there?
But back then, it wasn't even safe to be gay. Growing up in San Diego, I lived in gang areas, and you think I'm gonna be going around flannelling and hey girl? No.
Do you remember if any of your high school classes ever included LGBTQ topics?
None.
Is that something you noticed at the time, or just is that something you reflect?
Never thought of it. Never was it in my mind. Never thought of it.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think you never thought that your classes might include these topics?
Because it's not. It's not. It's a lot of. It wasn't even brought up. Me being the teenager, never thought of that. So it was never brought up. I never thought that there would be a class for LGBT, or you talking about having two men get married, or yeah, it was just wasn't brought up. A lot of the part about the LGBT and all that, I kind of kept it to myself, just to be safe.
So it sounds like you kept it to yourself for a while. You knew in high school,
Mm-hmm.
and then you started telling at least some people. You said in your mid-20s.
Yeah.
What happened in your mid-20s that you think that made you start to tell people?
I was just meeting a lot of people at the clubs and the bars, which includes substance use.
So how was like African American history covered in your high school curriculum?
Not really.
Were you in what was the racial makeup of your high schools?
Anyways, majority black, I guess. Mexican, black, Cambodian, Latino, white. It's all mixed. It's all, yeah.
And yet African American history wasn't covered.
No.
Talking the 1990s, right?
Mm-hmm.
How about since you started in community college? Have any of your courses included topics that related to LGBT?
I took Black Studies and I did not pass the class. It was a very difficult class. I got a D in the class. Then I took Afro American History at Southwestern College and I got a B. But unfortunately, I tried to talk to the counseling people here. It doesn't satisfy the requirement.
Really?
Yeah. I spoke with Maurice Gives and I had to take history. My major is sociology. I have to take a government class and a political science class. That's American government. And okay. That class is hard. You gotta know, it's a lot of reading, a lot of note taking, a lot of memorizing stuff.
The African American history class doesn't cover that particular requirement for sociology.
The class I took in Southwestern College, it was a midterm and final. And trust me, I was studying but I got to be in the class. And the professor, he was real. He was a military black professor. His famous words was, "You're a college student." So you got to work for it. You're a college student. But I liked it. Him. He was cool. I was up showing up every day with a classmate, and we'll go after class or during the weekends and study, pass the class, even the final.
So, can you talk some about your experience taking that Black Studies class and African American History class? Why did you decide to take those classes?
Because I think I'm black for one thing, and I think it's I need to know about my history.
And why do you think it's important to make sure that college students understand the Black experience in the U.S.?
Where people are from, where people are come from, their history, their ancestors, the family tree, history. You know, it's a story behind the family tree, the struggle. Yeah.
Does it make you feel more like empowered in your own racial identity when you take those classes
Yeah.
as a person?
I don't really see a lot of black professors here. I don't see a lot of the Afro-American, like they offer Afro-American classes like English and math, or I don't really, and I had a very bad experience with one of these black English teachers. But I don't know if it's a moja that's, they lead us into what classes to take. But as far as all the other classes I gotta have, no. Not even for LGBT either. I didn't even know they had a course about LGBT, and I didn't even know they had a pride center here until my friend told me about it. I didn't know.
Have you taken any classes that talk about LGBTQ topics?
Probably sociology 300 and 301.
And how are those topics covered?
Barely.
Do you wish they were covered in more depth?
Kind of yes and no.
Why do you say that?
I just want it's a lot. I don't know. I really don't know to answer that question.
Okay.
I really don't know.
So there's an Intro to LGBTQ Studies class offered at ARC and CRC. At SCC, there's not one currently offered, but there might be, I think, one offered soon. Intro to LGBTQ Studies. If you could, would you consider taking that class?
If it's part of my major,
Okay. Why do you say that?
I just want to see how. I just want to relate to see where people are at.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask you a question? Is there a reason why you're asking a lot of LGBT questions?
Well, that's the research project.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm
I get it.
concerned that there's not enough offered in the curriculum, and I'm curious to know what impact that has on students who identify in the community.
To be really honest with you, I didn't even know that they had LGBT courses.
Well, there hardly are any of them. There's only one section of the course offered each semester at ARC, and then sometimes there's an LGBTQ literature class. So I think when we
And
talk
what's the prerequisite for that?
for the Intro to LGBTQ Studies,
Yeah.
you don't have any prerequisites, and it fulfills some basic general ed requirements, like the social science requirement. At ARC, I know it fulfills the race and ethnicity requirement. The outline is very sort of inclusive of the experiences of queer people of color.
Yeah, I would have to meet with either my DSPS counselors or EOPS. I have to look at that. It's like my student ed plan to see if that's part of my, because I'm a sociology major. I I have to look back at those required courses and see if I would love to take an LGBT class and get where people are at. There's maybe a lot of, I just want to know where people is at, like their stories. Um, just like right now, we've been fighting this anti-drag ban. So Congress is trying to stop people from performing in certain places, and it's not right.
What do you think is underlying those drag bans in states across the country?
I need more information, and to if I were, I think it's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Let us just perform. Let us live our lives, make the money, and represent. But don't just you're making us like you're stopping us for who we are. We don't stop you. We don't bother you. So I just don't. I don't get it. I just don't understand, and I just don't get it. And then people don't vote anymore.
I mean, yeah, there's probably a lot that goes into why politicians are placing a target on the backs of the LGBTQ community in various ways through drag bans and barring transition-related healthcare for trans people, banning trans people from playing sports, banning LGBTQ topics from being taught in the schools, right? But one thing that comes to mind for me is that it's a way to sort of gain political capital, to sort of distract voters from other issues by making them hate, right, this one community that's already quite marginalized. And if you're busy hating on trans people and hating on gay people, then you're not paying as close attention to other issues, and you're not holding your politicians to account
Mm-hmm.
and making them, right, address your other needs, right? So if you're struggling financially, for instance, these sorts of things.
It takes me a lot to. I fight and fight and fight and fight, and it's still not enough. It's still not enough. I just feel that we can do a lot more, but I just don't see it happening.
You feel kind of cynical right now?
I just feel like we can do a lot more, but I just don't see it happening. Yeah.
So, can you tell me a little bit about your experience participating in the classroom and sort of feeling a sense of belonging in the classroom? What have your experiences been
I
like?
just know who everybody is and meet with the students. We go over the assignments. We exchange numbers. We do study groups. And that's, yeah.
Do you like being in the classroom?
Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
I like to participate. I like to be with other students so we all can. I like to be around a lot of people. I'm a people person, and get help with homework and tests and papers instead of you have to do it online, looking at a computer.
So, do you think it would be important for you personally if SEC or another college in the district hired African American LGBTQ faculty? Would that be something that you would find valuable?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Why is that?
To represent us. At least to have someone to represent us, or me to identify with that person. But I don't know what. I never heard of that before.
So you were saying there were hardly any black faculty, right?
You mean back LGBT faculty?
Well, there are hardly any black faculty, so I was wondering, if there are hardly any black faculty, it seems likely that there are hardly any black LGBTQ
which is
yeah. And I know often it can be helpful for students to have people who share their own experiences, right? Share their identities and some of their same experiences.
I don't see that here. No.
So how are you doing in your classes right now in general?
Just doing the incomplete class right now. I'm not registering any classes right now. Just trying to finish up these assignments so I can get ready for the fall.
How'd you do in the spring?
I wasn't in the spring.
Oh, you weren't enrolled in the spring?
No.
Okay.
So
So you're planning on enrolling in the fall?
yeah.
So if you've ever struggled in any of your classes, or have you struggled in any of your classes?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How have you struggled, and what do you think professors could have done potentially to help you do better at those classes?
Well, maybe have accommodate more office hours.
Why do you say that?
Because sometimes assignments can be very difficult if you're doing an online class. Then you have to wait for an answer.
So having office hours as a requirement in the class, like setting aside office hours, or just making them more available
I think it'd be the more available times.
to get more one-on-one help?
Yeah.
So can you think of any classes that you've really enjoyed at SEC? Like classes that really stand out to you, or professors that stand out to you?
Yeah, Tom Sheeman, Human Career Development 110.
Why did that class stand out to you, that professor?
I like that professor. It took him 8 years to graduate Sac City College. It was a nice class. Me and my neighbor, actually, we took the same class together. I had a lot of fun in that class. A lot of young students in the class. Most of them came from high school. And but me and my neighbor, we took the same class. We did homework together. So yeah, and yeah. I don't think any other. I can. What about maybe Sociology 300 with Mark Carno, but I think he's at ARC.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah. He's in ethnic studies, doing ethnic studies, right?
Huh?
Yeah. He's teaching ethnic studies.
Oh, really?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that was my professor for Sociology 300 and 301.
And why'd you like that class so much?
I can relate to that guy.
Yeah.
He's cool. He was a cool professor. He hella cool. Yeah, I was psyched to get up and go. I liked him. He was cool. I liked him.
Now, what did he do to make you like that class so much?
Very mellow. He's a very mellow professor. Yeah.
Hey, was he flexible?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Very flexible. But I passed this class, both classes. I had to repeat 301, and I took it in the summer, and I passed it.
Did he provide you with like one-on-one
Yeah.
support?
Yeah, and I had accommodations with that also.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So just a couple of questions about your experience on campus in general. Have you ever felt harassed or discriminated against because of your identities while at SAC?
No.
Have you used support services for LGBTQ students at SAC?
No.
Do you know about any support services that
The only thing I know was the Pride Center, I guess.
And you just found out about that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you wish you would have known about it?
With me.
Do you think if you had known about it sooner, you might have checked it out, like seen what they offered?
Is that like a club or?
The Pride Center, they do educational events. Sometimes it's trainings for faculty and staff. Sometimes it's like educational and social events for students. They help students sort of navigate how to change their names and add their pronouns in the system.
Oh,
Um, they provide community for students, so you can just go hang out there as well.
oh, okay. Well, um, when I first came in, I just, it was never, I didn't know, I just don't know nothing. Didn't know nothing about that. I never knew they had a Pride Center or anything related to LGBT because I never, I mean, I know the Sacramento LGBT Center and, but as far as a Pride Center here or at school, I never thought they had one.
Have you used the services offered by the LGBT Center in Sacramento?
Yeah,
And how have you found that?
I'm a part of one of their support groups.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, and I was also I do the AA online also.
So that's good. They offer AA through the LGBT Center.
Yes, online Zoom.
What else does the LGBT Center in Sacramento do that you find useful?
Can I be honest with you?
Mm-hmm.
I really don't use the LGBT Center as much. It's not. I don't see myself there. Let's just say that.
You want to elaborate?
There's been a couple of times where I called and they act like they don't know what I'm talking about. And so I just don't see myself there.
So is there anything you think SCC could do to make you feel more included on campus in relationship to your identities, broadly speaking?
Be more aware. Are there like any clubs? Are they doing any functions, any events, any social outings? Yeah, I don't see. I don't even see. Are they having anything come up in the summer? Any social gatherings? This is Pride Month.
So you'd like to see things publicized more. Maybe more things need to happen as well.
I think things should be publicized more.
Do you think you might get involved if you saw more things happening?
Oh yeah.
Why do you think you might get involved? Why would it be important for you to get involved?
To know people who I am. I have a drag persona, so I'll probably show up here in my drag persona and let people know who I am. But I need to know where people are at. Like, what does this Pride Center do? What do they do? What are the services they offer? What do I see myself there? Black man, black gay man, who also performs in drag. Kind of have to be. I just have to see where people are at, or I have to see myself. Where do I see Ronnie, Miranda, or where do I see my drag persona at that in those where the Pride Center's at? What do they offer? What can they what I just need more information.
So you mentioned wanting to know if the Pride Center, what does the Pride Center do, and can you see yourself feeling like you belong there? What would you like to see the Pride Center do to help you feel like?
Who's the dean? Who's the contact person? Who's in charge of the program? Is there an internship that maybe I can be interested in? Are there job opportunities? Are there social gatherings? Are there social events?
You know, at ARC, we did a couple of times a drag bingo.
Okay.
So that's something. I don't know if they've done that here. Was that something you'd be interested in?
Yeah, I go to Mango's Drag Bingo. I attended that a few times, yeah.
Okay, well, I want to respect your time. I know you have something to go to, but is there anything else you'd like to add or any questions you'd like to return to?
Just I want to know more information about the Pride Center. What do they do? Like, what social activities are they planning to do? Because I like to get involved.
Okay. All right, well, thank you.